So I think I'm recording now, and I think my voice is being recorded too. Oh God, I almost fell. Okay, so what is up, everybody? It is David. I'm walking back out to my motorcycle. I just came all the way from my house in roughly 38, 40 degree weather, and I'm about to ride all the way back in about 34, 32 degree weather. It's going to be lovely. I just got done with a Bible study with my cousins. It was great, and I had a whole thing, a whole shebang, a whole thing I wanted to talk about. And yeah, so when on the way here, basically what happened was my mic disconnected from my GoPro. And I just installed the Purple Panda, made it all look cool and made it work. I even confirmed that it was working, and lo and behold, it disconnects almost like there's no point. So with that being said, the topic of today's video is going to be about, and I don't know why I'm saying all this like this, you know what, let's just go ahead and make it not. It doesn't have to be like that. I don't have to be like, well, the topic of today's video is this and this and this and this. No. So I just wanted to take today to talk about some things that have happened at work lately. You know, I've had a couple of situations occur recently. I don't think my bike is gonna make that go off, so we'll just come through here. One of the key point, or one of the things that happened earlier this week was, you know, we had a Maserati come through, and that's not very common for us to work on. And you know, so to back up even further, we had this Maserati come through, and I had a really good conversation with the guy. I did his oil change, I evac'd the oil, and it wasn't everything went smooth. Everything went really smooth. We didn't have any problems. Well, come the next time he comes through, and I didn't recognize the guy because I talk to dozens of people a day, hundreds of people a month. Damn, it is so cold. Oh, it is so cold. The guy comes back, and he had a new wrap, and it was super cool. I walk up to the guy, and I'm like, hey, is this, you came through a couple months ago, right? And he's, you know, yeah, that's me. I'm like, did you get a new wrap? Yeah, and it's like a chameleon color. It's got different colors from different angles. It looks super dope. Well, my assistant manager, Declan, which, by the way, if any of the guys from my work are watching, shout outs to you guys. We got JT, the technician, Mac, the pit tech. We got, you know, Chris, Hunter, Declan, Bobby, everybody that makes my place that I work basically operate day to day. You guys are phenomenal. I can't ask for a better crew. You know, Declan's my assistant manager. I can trust him wholeheartedly with the whole store. It's great. So, and then this kind of brings up another topic is, y'all don't know me very well, or at all, frankly, yet. So, my name's David. So, I manage an express oil change and tire engineers here in the South. And I really do like my job quite a lot. It's just a lot of hours, man. It's a lot. So, it gets pretty stressful. But, man, it is so cold. Oh! Man, it's fucking cold. Okay, where am I at without fucking... Yeah, so this guy in the Maserati, he comes back through. My assistant manager, Declan, is the one doing his oil change, and I'm just talking to the guy because he's super chill, he's super cool, fun to talk to, and I'm asking him where he got his wrap, because one day I'd like to get this bad boy wrapped. That'd be freaking awesome. And so we talk about all that, and the next thing I know, I hear, oh God, oh God, what is that? What is that awful cracking noise? And to be honest, at first I didn't even realize it. At first I didn't even think much of the fact that I just heard a crack. What was it? It was his oil filter cap. And at first, to be honest, I thought it was my fault. I thought, because I did his last oil change, I thought I over tightened that shit. I thought I had over tightened his oil filter, and Declan couldn't get it off, and he cracked the oil filter cap getting it off. And so I'm sitting there thinking, like, oh my God, how are we gonna get this thing off? No. And so I walk up to the guy and I tell him, look, dude, this is what happened. It was probably my fault. I probably over tightened it last time. We're gonna own up to it. We're gonna pay for it. We're gonna fix it. I got you. So it was really late. This oil change took place at like 5:45, 'and we closed at 6 p.m. So, Basically, his wife didn't get off till 6. She wouldn't have been able to be there to pick him up till 6:30. I offered to Uber him home. We Ubered him home, and the next day I realized I didn't even have his keys, so I couldn't push it out of the oil change bay. We were gonna have to do everything there. We go to call Chrysler because Chrysler had the part number in their online inventory, and they didn't actually have the part, so we call Maserati, and Maserati says this oil filter cap is $170, and there's no telling when it's going to be in, and to expedite it, it's like another $30, so it's basically $200 for this one dang part. And I'm sitting there about to have a come down, like, oh, a come apart. I cannot believe that this is the case, you know. So thank God we get there the next morning. It's about 7:45, and I'm doing all my normal opening tasks, about to have the morning huddle with all my guys, and bro calls us back. Fucking lovely. I fucking love this shit. This guy calls us back and he says he has another oil cap. That's amazing. I love it. Well, yeah, so it's not like it was an original equipment filter cap. It was an eBay filter cap. And man, if this customer is watching, if any of these guys are watching, this is just case in point why you should always use manufacturer grade stuff. When you go to get eBay stuff or parts from another car, you're just basically at this point begging for something else to go out, right? You just started a new timer. You just started a new clock. Okay, this part failed. Now you're just prematurely starting another clock for this thing to fail. There's already a new failure point, right? So, you know, never use old stuff. But this goes a little further. I haven't even finished the story. This goes a little further. The cap that he brought us back was an eBay cap. I couldn't even get it to go back on, man. I'm sitting here wrenching this shit on, and it's not even working. It's going on super rough, and occasionally it's cross-threading itself. And I mean, we spent about an hour this morning. We opened at 8. He probably got there with the oil filter cap around 8:15, 8:20, and we were sitting there working on it for probably about an hour. Like, he didn't leave the place until about 9:30. But what ended up happening was I just had to work it in, work it out, work it in, work it out, because the threads, we found out that the threads were actually smaller or bigger than the original filter cap. The threads on the eBay filter cap were thicker, and that's why it was so hard going on, but also why it would constantly cross thread. So we finally got to a point where I'm sitting there working on it, and I'm like, okay, let me just edge it out to this one certain point, and then eventually I just kind of put some downward force on it, and it stopped cross threading, and I'm like, fuck it, we're spinning this shit all the way on. And so we put some comments on his ticket to waive liability because he brought his own part. Thank God, God, you were great. This guy had a part, because I was gonna have to file a whole claim and everything. I didn't have to file a claim. The customer brought his own part. The part didn't work great. It was still very stressful, and this part is still gonna fail because it is so fucking tight that the next time it comes off, it's probably gonna snap again. And we're dealing with a whole nother fucking issue. So this, again, all of this, use original equipment parts. If you're doing performance related stuff, that's fine. You're gonna have to go aftermarket. It's not like most manufacturers make their own performance parts, but you need to get quality parts, and you need somebody that knows more than you to help you put it on, unless you are that good, unless you are that guy. You know what I mean? If you don't have a really good idea of what's going on, you could do something wrong. Like, you don't just install a part and not get it tuned either, whatever it is. If you're trying to install aftermarket exhaust, air intake, you know, whatever the case, fuel injectors, spark plugs, make sure you're getting stuff tuned too. There's a lot to this shit. But that happened. And then there's one last thing I kind of wanted to talk about, and this one is more or less about not going above your means, not making promises that you can't keep. Man, I had this one lady come through one day. She's a little bit older, she's handicapped, she's got all the bells and whistles inside her Honda Odyssey, and you know, she had never known that she had an oil leak prior to this day. And one of my hood techs tells her that she has an oil leak, And you know, she trusts us. Her car has only ever been to us, and she's like trying to gather her head around why all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's got these oil leaks that nobody ever told her about. And I had to soothe the whole situation over, and I did. I went out there and I talked to her. She turned out to be a really nice lady, and I felt really bad for her too, because yeah, she does need some work done on this car. Well, she came back 2 days ago on Friday, and she was wanting to get all this stuff done, these valve cover gaskets. It's not all this stuff, it's just valve cover gaskets. She needs an oil pan gasket, needs some front tires. She doesn't need a whole lot, but she needs some more. But she wanted to go ahead and tackle the valve cover gaskets. And I tell her, yeah, we could do it. We got it. My mechanic was off Saturday. He wasn't there the next day, so I'm like, I can do it, no problem. I'm not a mechanic, but I know enough about cars to get a valve cover gaskets done, surely. And you know, you got to take the intake manifold off. That's the easy part. Throttle body and a whole bunch of connectors, wiring harnesses, bunch of different stuff. But you know, the day that my mechanic's there, she drops it off at 3:30. We start getting on it. I do anyway, because my mechanic's working on something else. I get on it and I tell her I'll have it done the next day by the end of the day. I get to working on it. Cool. I get it halfway broken down. The next day, I get stuck. I can't get the rear valve cover off behind the wiring harness. And I had to call for help from another store because my mechanic's off, right? And I call for some help. He helps me get this valve cover, this rear valve cover off and back on. He starts putting his other stuff back together, change the tube seals out, change the grommets for the valve cover bolts. And I get it all put back together. He goes back to where he works, and I get the rest of it put back together anyway. I go to turn it on, it doesn't turn on. Okay, not a big deal. I looked over everything. I figured it was just a ground wire, which is what it was. I put the ground wire back in, and I started back up. No check engine light, cool. But the oil pressure light stays on. And I'm like, man, this can't be happening. Oil pressure, fuck. It doesn't sound bad. There's oil going through the engine. It's not knocking. It's not acting crazy. Oil still going, you know, splashing up in the dipstick tube. Cool. Well, I can't figure this shit out. I put a new oil pressure switch in it. I can't figure it out, and I have to make that gut-wrenching call, man. I have to make that absolutely shitty call to this customer, this nice lady, and tell her, hey, everything went good, except for this one thing. I need to keep it longer so I can figure it out. And man, boy, was she understanding, and I'm so thankful for that. But guys, that is simply, don't make promises you can't keep. If it's above your means to get done, don't make those promises. Also, work within your limits, but always strive to get better. Always strive to learn more, okay? That you can learn more without throwing yourself into the fire. You know, everybody's like, the best way to learn is to throw yourself into the fire. No, dude, sometimes that's not what you need to do. So that was a state trooper. Hopefully he doesn't turn around. But anyway, boys and girls, kings and queens, thank you so much for watching. I hope that my mic still works right now, because it didn't work all the way to my cousin's house for this Bible study. But again, I appreciate you guys watching. I just ask that if you guys enjoyed any of this content, you know, please subscribe, like, and you know, hit that bell notification, hit all. Otherwise, my content might mix in with some of the stuff that they recommend for you, but it always couldn't. So that bell really notifies you when I make new content. So I appreciate everybody that watched. Thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful day. Ride safe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Ela desce, ela sobe, no baile